I co-signed her mortgage, covered her late payments, and kept quiet for years. But when I showed up with proof of her husband's $59K gambling debts, she screamed, "Get out or I'll call the cops." So I called my lawyer. Before we begin, please subscribe, and I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening from? You expect betrayal from strangers, but when it knocks, it's wearing your daughter's face. I pull into the driveway of Emily's house in Creston Heights, Georgia, my hands gripping the steering wheel tighter than they should. The house looks perfect from here. Manicured lawn, luxury SUV gleaming in the afternoon sun. Everything picture perfect. But I know what's rotting underneath all that polish. After 35 years as a structural engineer, I can spot a failing foundation from a mile away. The irony isn't lost on me. I helped co-sign this mortgage 3 years ago. Hell, I even covered 3 late payments last year when Emily called crying about cash flow problems. Never told her mother about that. Some things you handle quietly, like a man. I rehearse my words walking up the brick pathway. Calm, factual, unemotional. The same tone I used when explaining load-bearing failures to contractors who'd rather blame the weather than admit their mistakes. Emily opens the door mid-conversation. Phone pressed to her ear. Her voice is animated, probably talking to her mother about weekend plans or little Emily's preschool adventures. But the moment she sees me standing there, everything changes. Her smile freezes, becomes mechanical, arms crossed defensively. "Mom, I gotta call you back," she says, but leaves the phone active on the granite counter. Old habit. She's always been suspicious of unannounced visits. The living room behind her looks like a furniture showroom. Everything expensive, everything untouched. The kind of house you're afraid to live in because you might mess something up. Not the kind of place where a 3-year-old should be learning to walk. "Hey, Dad." Her voice has that careful politeness she reserves for awkward situations. "What's going on?" I step inside without waiting for an invitation. After what I've discovered, pleasantries feel like a waste of time. "We need to talk, Emily." She hesitates, glancing toward the stairs like she's calculating escape routes, then steps aside, reluctantly. I reach into my jacket and pull out the manila folder I've been carrying like a loaded weapon. Place it on the kitchen island between us. The documents inside represent weeks of sleepless nights, phone calls to banks, and the kind of detective work that comes naturally when someone's lying to your face. "I've been getting mail that doesn't belong to me," I begin, keeping my voice level. Debt notices, credit line approvals, home equity loan statements, all tied to this address, but sent to mine. Emily glances at the folder like it might bite her. "I don't understand what you're talking about." I open it slowly, methodically. Bank statements with Bradley Turner's signature, cash advance receipts, gambling site charges that might as well be written in neon, home equity loan documents that make my blood pressure spike every time I read them. $59,000, Emily, in gambling-related debt, secured against this house. She pushes the papers away without reading them, like they're contaminated. "You're checking up on us. Seriously?" "I'm protecting an investment I helped make possible." Her face flushes red. "You hate him. You've always hated Bradley. And now you're trying to sabotage our marriage with some conspiracy theory." The conversation spirals from there. Voices rising. Accusations flying. Emily's calm facade cracks completely, revealing the scared woman underneath who knows exactly what her husband's been doing, but refuses to admit it. "Why can't you just let us live our lives?" she shouts. "Because he's gambling with your future, and mine." That's when she snaps. "Get out. I mean it, Dad. Get out or I'll call the police." Silence fills the space between us like a physical thing. I don't flinch. Don't argue. Just slowly collect the scattered documents, fold them with the same precision I used to fold blueprints. 30 years of engineering discipline doesn't disappear just because your daughter's threatening to have you arrested. I walk out without another word. Standing beside my car in the Georgia heat, I take out my phone and dial Rachel Mendez. She sold me this house 3 years ago when Emily and Bradley needed a co-signer. Sweet woman, professional, discreet. Rachel, I may need to list a property. There's a pause. You mean Emily's house? That's the one. As I drive away, one thought echoes in my mind like a prayer, and a threat rolled into one. She said she'd call the cops on me. Let's see if she'll call them again when she realizes I own half that house. He signed the papers to help his daughter. Now, those same papers will help him tear down her life. Back home, I spread the original mortgage documents across my dining table like I'm reviewing blueprints for a skyscraper. 35 years of engineering taught me that details matter. The devil's always in the fine print, and right now that devil's working in my favor. There it is, clear as daylight, joint and several liability. Co-signer holds equal legal standing in all decisions regarding sale, refinancing, and liens. I remember the closing attorney explaining this back in 2021, how Emily barely listened while Bradley kept checking his phone. I paid attention. I always pay attention. The realization hits me like a sledgehammer to the chest. I don't need Emily's permission to act. I don't need Bradley's cooperation. I just need legal proof, and 3 years of paperwork gives me exactly that. I call Martin Dorsey first thing Monday morning. Met him at a retirement planning seminar last year. Sharp guy, specializes in real estate law. The kind of attorney who doesn't waste time on small talk. Martin, it's Tom Keene. Remember me from the Highland Country Club seminar? I need a consultation. We meet at his office Tuesday afternoon. Highland Legal sits in one of those renovated Victorian houses downtown. All dark wood and leather chairs. Martin's got silver hair and the kind of calm demeanor that comes from handling messy family disputes for 20 years. I lay out everything on his conference table. Bank statements, credit reports, gambling site charges, the home equity loan Bradley opened 6 months ago without telling Emily. Martin examines each document with the methodical precision of a surgeon. This is substantial, he says finally. Your co-signer status gives you significant leverage here. Enough to force a sale. Martin nods slowly. Absolutely. When co-owners compromise a property's value through financial negligence or misconduct, the other party can petition for partition by sale. Gambling addiction that leads to asset depletion definitely qualifies. How long does it take? Depends on their response. If they fight it, could drag on for months. If they don't respond, he shrugs. 30 days, maybe less. I lean back in the leather chair, feeling something I haven't felt in weeks. Control. Next stop, Rachel Mendez. She's got an office in a strip mall next to a Starbucks. But don't let the location fool you. Rachel's sold more houses in Creston County than anyone else in the past decade. Tom, she says, standing up from behind a desk covered in listing photos. Didn't expect to hear from you again so soon. I need a favor, Rachel. A comparative market analysis on Emily's property. Full breakdown. She raises an eyebrow, but doesn't ask questions. That's what I like about Rachel. She understands that sometimes business is personal, and sometimes personal is business. When do you need it? Yesterday. She visits the house the next day, posing as a general appraiser, updating neighborhood values, takes photos, measures rooms, notes the luxury items that don't align with a dental hygienist's salary and a subcontractor's wages, the 85-inch TV, the granite countertops, the BMW that's probably financed at 18% interest. Her report lands in my inbox Friday morning. Estimated market value, $447,000. Current equity, approximately $149,000 post-liens. I call her immediately. What if we need to sell fast? Motivated sale might drop the price to $420, but still viable. Are we talking about a real scenario here, Tom? More real than you know. That weekend, I dive deeper into Bradley's financial web. Using my co-signer access, I request detailed credit reports on all accounts tied to the property. What I find makes my engineer's brain want to calculate the structural damage this man has inflicted on my family's future. 3 credit lines opened in Emily's name without her knowledge. Her 401k used as collateral for something called Premier Investment Group, which a quick Google search reveals as a front for high-stakes poker games. 1 credit line directly connected to an online gambling platform disguised as a cryptocurrency wallet. I print everything, label each folder with the same precision I used for construction documentation: dates, signatures, account numbers. Build a case binder that would make any prosecutor proud. The irony cuts deep as I work. I remember Emily at 7 years old watching me write out mortgage checks at this same dining table. "Why do you pay more than they ask, Daddy?" "So we can own it faster, sweetheart. So it'll truly be ours." She's forgotten everything I taught her about building something that lasts. Sunday evening, I'm organizing the final documents when something clicks. During my confrontation with Bradley at his workplace last week, he was wearing a Rolex, not the kind of watch a mechanical subcontractor typically owns. I check Emily's Instagram, scrolling back through months of posts until I find it. "Happy anniversary! He surprised me with the sweetest gift." The photo shows Bradley's wrist, same Rolex clearly visible. A quick search reveals the model: Submariner, retail price around $12,000. I screenshot the post, print it, and add it to the evidence folder. Asset abuse, plain and simple. Monday morning, Martin calls with an update. "I've drafted the petition for partition by sale. We can file today if you're ready." "What's the timeline?" "Serve defendants within 5 business days. They have 30 days to respond. If no response, we get a default judgment and proceed with the sale." "They won't respond," I tell him. "They'll panic." Martin's voice carries a note of caution. "Tom, I need to warn you about potential retaliation. Family disputes like this can get ugly fast. Verbal harassment, legal counterattacks, sometimes even physical confrontation." I consider this while staring out my kitchen window at the bird feeder Emily made in high school shop class. Still hanging there after 15 years, weathered but functional. What do you recommend? Document everything. Install security cameras. Inform local police about potential harassment. Be prepared to file a restraining order if necessary. That afternoon, I install a Ring doorbell system and call the Creston Heights Police Department to file an informational report. Sergeant Williams takes my statement with the bored efficiency of someone who's seen too many family feuds. "Just want it on record," I tell him, "in case things escalate." "Smart thinking, Mr. Keene. We've got your number in the system." I also start looking at short-term housing options, not because I'm scared, but because I'm practical. When you're going to war, you secure your supply lines first. Rosemont Parkview Apartments has furnished units, month-to-month leases, and a security gate. I put down a deposit. That night, I walk through my house, the house Emily grew up in, like I'm conducting a final inspection. Touch the walls I painted myself, the staircase I reinforced when she turned 12 and started bringing friends over, the kitchen where she did homework while I cooked dinner after her mother died. In my office, I create a new folder on the desk, thick with documentation and legal papers. Write on the tab in block letters, Operation Reclaim. As I turn off the light, that folder seems to glow under the desk lamp like a beacon. The war for the house has officially begun, and for the first time in months, I'm not playing defense. Tomorrow, the papers get filed. In 31 days, barring a miracle or a legal response I know isn't coming, Emily's house becomes just another real estate transaction. Sometimes the foundation has to be torn down to save the structure. Emily will understand that someday. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but someday she'll realize I didn't destroy her life. I saved her from a man who was already burning it to the ground. There's a moment when the lie cracks just enough for the truth to slip in and destroy everything. I returned to Emily's house 3 days after filing the petition, timing my visit for when Bradley's at work. His supervisor at Meridian Mechanical told me their crew works until 5:30, which gives me a 2-hour window with Emily alone. She gets off her dental hygienist shift at 3, and I know she picks up little Emily from daycare at 4:15. Predictable schedules make for strategic opportunities. I park 3 houses down, behind a neighbor's hedge. No point in telegraphing my arrival. The front door opens before I can knock. Emily's standing there in her blue scrubs, phone clutched in her hand like a weapon. Her face carries the exhaustion of someone who hasn't slept properly in weeks. "Didn't expect you again so soon, Dad." Her voice tries for politeness, but I can hear the tension underneath. The careful way she's holding herself, like she's bracing for impact. I walk past her into the foyer without waiting for permission. The dynamics have shifted since our last conversation. I'm not the pleading father anymore. I'm a man with legal backing and 35 years of experience dealing with structural failures. "We need to talk." She closes the door slowly, glances up the staircase toward her daughter's room. Emily's napping. Good. This conversation doesn't need witnesses. In the kitchen, I unroll a manila folder across that marble island, the same one where we had our first confrontation, but this time, the documents are different, more comprehensive, more damning. Bank statements showing a pattern of credit juggling, home equity loan paperwork with Bradley's forged signature authorizations, cash advance receipts from 3 different gambling platforms, her 401k loan documentation that she clearly never signed. I place a small digital recorder next to the papers and press the red button. "I'm not here to argue, Emily. I'm here to inform you about what your husband has been doing with your future." She stares at the recorder like it's a snake. "Are you seriously recording this?" "For legal purposes, yes." Her eyes scan the documents spread across the granite. I watch her expression change in real time, confusion morphing into recognition, recognition becoming dread. She picks up the gambling site statements, studies Bradley's signature on each one. "No," she whispers. This can't be right. We're current on our mortgage." "You're current because he's using borrowed money to pay borrowed money. It's called credit stacking, and it's about as sustainable as a house of cards in a hurricane." I point to the loan pattern documentation Martin helped me compile. Overlapping withdrawal dates, backdated payments that don't align with his paycheck schedule, money shuffled between accounts like a shell game designed to fool bank algorithms. Emily slams her palm down on the counter, making the recorder jump. "You forged these. You made this whole thing up because you hate him." I reach into my jacket pocket and pull out the call log from Broadstone Federal, the one showing their mistake in contacting me about delinquent payments. Place it next to her hand. Bank error led to this discovery. Everything else is just following the paper trail. She stares at the official letterhead, and I watch the last bit of denial crumble in her eyes. Her voice drops to a whisper. "Bradley loves me. He would never risk our house." "Emily, he already has." That's when she breaks. Completely, utterly breaks. Sweeps all the documents off the counter with one violent motion, papers scattering across the tile floor like evidence of a crime scene. "You hate him. You've always hated him since the day I brought him home." I kneel down, calmly collecting the scattered papers. Coffee stains one corner of the credit report, but the numbers are still legible. "I hate what he's doing to you." She grabs her phone, waves it at me like a threat. "I'm calling the police. You're harassing us. You're trying to destroy my marriage. Your marriage destroyed itself the first time he bet your equity on a poker hand. I finish collecting the documents, wipe coffee off the bank statement with a napkin. Stand up, slowly, maintaining the calm demeanor that served me well in 35 years of construction crises. As I walk toward the door, I stop and turn back. I hope the house was worth it, Emily, because it won't be yours much longer. Her face goes white. What does that mean? But I'm already walking out, leaving her with the recorder still running on the counter. Back in my car, I feel something I haven't experienced in months. Not satisfaction, too early for that, but clarity. Pure, crystalline clarity about what needs to happen next. I call Martin from the parking lot. She chose him, just like you predicted. How'd she take the evidence? About as well as you'd expect. Denial, anger, threats to call the cops. Martin's voice carries a note of professional sympathy. That changes nothing legally, Tom. But emotionally, it'll matter when this gets in front of a judge. She was given every opportunity to address the situation. When do we serve papers? Tomorrow morning. Sheriff's Department handles service of process. They'll both receive copies of the partition petition, along with 30-day notice to respond. That evening, I'm heating up leftover Chinese takeout when my Ring doorbell chimes. The app shows Bradley Turner standing on my porch, swaying slightly, face flushed with alcohol and rage. I keep the chain lock engaged, speak through the 4-inch gap. Little late for a social call, isn't it, Bradley? You think you can scare us with legal bullshit? His words slur together, but the menace is clear. Think you can push us around? Did Emily mention the $59,000 in gambling debts? His expression shifts, alcohol-fueled bravado cracking just enough to show the panic underneath. Those are business investments, crypto trading. You wouldn't understand. I understand numbers just fine, and these numbers say you've been bleeding equity faster than a burst pipe. I offer to bring Emily into the conversation, see what she thinks about his crypto investments. Bradley goes pale, then red, then something darker. You're trying to destroy my life, old man. His voice drops to a whisper, the kind that carries more threat than shouting ever could. Accidents happen to old men living alone. Houses catch fire. Cars have brake problems. I feel something cold settle in my chest. Not fear. I stopped being afraid of men like Bradley Turner decades ago. But recognition. This is who Emily chose over family. This is what she's protecting. Are you threatening me, Bradley? He staggers backward, seems to realize he's said too much. Just stating facts about the world we live in. After he leaves, I call the police department. Sergeant Williams takes my statement, adds it to the file we started yesterday. Want to press charges for the threat? Not yet, but I want it documented. Martin's already prepared a restraining order draft, just in case. I also accelerate my timeline for the apartment lease. No point taking unnecessary risks when the legal process will handle everything in 30 days. Moving day comes faster than expected. I pack only essentials: clothes, coffee maker, the legal case files. Everything else can wait. Rosemont Parkview Apartments sits behind a security gate, managed by people who understand the value of discretion. The night before I leave my house, I walk through each room like I'm conducting a final inspection. Stop at the framed photo of Emily's college graduation, the one where she's wearing the cap and gown I helped pay for, back when she still trusted my judgment about building something that lasts. I take the photo down, wrap it in tissue paper, pack it in a box marked storage. Some memories are too precious to throw away, too painful to keep visible. In my home office, I pack the Operation Reclaim folder into a fireproof document case. Add copies of my power of attorney, property deeds, and insurance policies. Leave the original house keys on the kitchen counter next to a note for the mail carrier about forwarding address changes. Turn off the lights one by one. Same routine I've followed for 20 years. But tonight feels different. tonight feels like an ending. As I lock the front door behind me, I think about Emily's face when she swept those documents off the counter. The rage, the denial, the desperate need to believe that love conquers mathematics. Maybe it does, in fairy tales. But in the real world, numbers don't lie, and foundations don't forgive negligence. The sheriff's department will serve them papers in 48 hours. What they do next will determine whether this ends in a courtroom or destroys them completely. I drive away from my house, the house Emily learned to walk in, learned to ride a bike in, brought her first boyfriend to meet me in, without looking back. Some bridges you cross, others you burn. When you hit the right nerve, they don't scream. They start pretending nothing's wrong. Sheriff's Deputy Martinez serves the papers at 6:30 Tuesday morning. I know this because I requested notification of service, and because Mrs. Patterson, my old neighbor, calls me 20 minutes later. Tom, there was quite a commotion over at Emily's place this morning. Police car, official-looking man with documents. Emily came out in her robe, started crying right there on the front porch. I thank Mrs. Patterson for keeping me informed, though I don't tell her I'm sitting in my new apartment, drinking coffee and waiting for the fallout. It doesn't take long. My phone buzzes at 9:07. First voicemail from Emily, her voice cracking like thin ice. Dad, please call me back. I don't understand what these papers mean. Is this real? Are you really trying to take our house? Second call comes from Bradley at 9:23, his tone swinging between fury and disbelief. You think you can pull this courtroom stunt? This is a family matter, not some business deal. Call off your lawyers before this gets ugly. Third voicemail arrives before lunch. Emily again, full-blown sobbing. Bradley says you're trying to take our house away from us. That can't be true, right? You wouldn't do that to your own grandchild. Please call me back. Please. I listen to each message twice, then forward them all to Martin for the legal file. For the first time in this entire mess, I control the narrative. They react. I respond. They panic. I stay calm. By Wednesday, I've blocked 7 different numbers. Bradley's getting creative, using work phones, friends' cells, even what sounds like a burner phone from a gas station. I don't answer any of them. The social media posts start Thursday morning. Bradley's Facebook shows a passive-aggressive status update. Some people don't know when to mind their own business. We're fine. Family comes first. Followed by a series of heart emojis and prayer hands. Emily tries a different approach, texting me directly. Dad, can we please meet for coffee? Just to talk. I know we can work this out if we sit down face to face. I screenshot the message and send it to Martin with a note. Manipulation phase begins. The financial desperation shows up faster than I expected. Bradley tries to apply for another home equity line of credit. Gets rejected because of the Elias pendants on the property. They attempt to refinance the original mortgage, blocked by the pending legal proceedings. Mrs. Patterson calls Friday with an update that makes me smile for the first time in weeks. Tom, you'll never believe it. That fancy BMW of Bradley's got repossessed right there in the driveway. Emily came running out in her work clothes, pleading with the tow truck driver. Neighbors saw the whole thing. The cracks in their perfect facade are starting to show. Emily's Instagram stories take on a desperate optimism. Every storm runs out of rain, with a sunrise emoji. Blessed beyond measure, posted next to a photo of their overpriced granite countertops. Then the real estate appraiser shows up. Rachel sends over a licensed professional for the formal property valuation required by the court. I'm not there, obviously, but Rachel fills me in afterward. Emily was shocked when Mike started taking photos and measurements, kept asking who sent him, why he was there. When he explained it was court-ordered, she called you immediately. My phone shows 3 missed calls from Emily during the appraiser's visit. plus a voicemail that runs the full 3-minute limit. Dad, there's a man here taking pictures of our house. He says you sent him. What is happening? I don't understand any of this. Please call me back. Please just talk to me. I don't call back. Saturday evening, Mrs. Patterson reports that Emily drove to my old house and sat on the porch for over an hour. Just sat there, staring at the windows like she expected me to appear. She left something under your front door, Tom. Looked like a note. I drive over Sunday morning to collect it, handwritten on Emily's personalized stationery, the kind she got for Christmas 3 years ago. Dad, please don't do this. We'll lose everything. I know Bradley made mistakes, but we can fix this. Please give us a chance. Signed, Emily, your daughter. The desperation in those 2 words, your daughter, like she needs to remind me of our relationship, like I could forget. I file the note with the rest of the evidence and drive back to my apartment. Monday brings a different kind of voicemail. Bradley again, but the anger's been replaced by something that sounds almost like humility. Tom, you win, okay? You made your point. I screwed up. I get it. But calling off the lawyers now, we can work something out. Man to man. Then softer. Look, Emily's not sleeping. She's not eating. You're hurting her more than you're hurting me. Is that really what you want? I delete the message without finishing it. Tuesday afternoon, Bradley shows up at Rosemont Parkview. The security guard at the gate calls me before letting him through. Sir, there's a gentleman here asking for you. Says he's family, but he seems agitated. Don't let him in. Add his name to the restricted list. Through my 3rd-floor window, I watch Bradley pace beside his remaining car, some beat-up Honda that must be all he can afford now. He stays for 20 minutes, making phone calls, gesturing angrily, then drives away. The security footage gets forwarded to Martin's office as evidence of attempted harassment. Wednesday morning brings their last desperate legal move. Bradley hires some cut-rate paralegal service to file an emergency motion to dismiss the partition sale. The paperwork's sloppy, full of typos and legal arguments that wouldn't hold up in traffic court. Martin calls me laughing. They're claiming family manipulation and mental distress as grounds for dismissal. Judge Morrison threw it out before lunch. What's next? They have 12 days left to file a legitimate response. After that, we get our default judgment and proceed with the sale. The social collapse happens faster than I anticipated. Emily's friends start asking questions when the "for sale" sign appears on the courthouse steps posting. Someone leaks the real story. Forced partition sale, gambling debts, family lawsuit. Emily deletes her Facebook account, stops posting on Instagram. Her co-workers at the dental clinic begin treating her differently, according to Mrs. Patterson, whose daughter works at the same practice. They're whispering behind her back, Tom, asking how a father could do this to his own child. The irony burns. How a father could do this. Not how a husband could gamble away his family's future, but how a father could try to stop it. Thursday evening, Emily quits her job, just walks out in the middle of a shift, tells Dr. Brennan she can't handle the stress anymore. Her manager calls it an indefinite leave of absence, but everyone knows she's not coming back. Bradley's family cuts contact. His brother posts on Facebook, "Some people bring shame on the whole family name. Distance yourselves accordingly." Even their neighbors start avoiding them. Mrs. Patterson mentions that the evening walks have stopped. The friendly waves have disappeared. Friday brings the final humiliation. Emily's manager at the dental clinic recommends she take some time to focus on family matters. Corporate speak for "don't come back." That night, I sit in my apartment kitchen, eating takeout Chinese and reviewing Martin's timeline. 12 more days until the default judgment. 3 weeks after that, the house goes to auction. Everything's proceeding exactly as planned. The legal machinery grinds forward with the inexorable precision of a structural collapse. Slow at first, then all at once. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "This isn't over, old man." Bradley, probably using another burner phone. I screenshot it, forward it to Martin, then block the number. It occurs to me that he's right, though not in the way he thinks. This isn't over. The real consequences haven't even started yet. The house sale is just the beginning, the first domino in a line that stretches out further than Emily can see. But right now, she still thinks this is about money, about property. About some cruel punishment I'm inflicting because I never liked her husband. She has no idea this is about saving her life from a man who was already burning it to the ground. In 12 days, she'll start to understand. Whether she's grateful or not is beside the point. Some lessons you learn, others get taught to you whether you want them or not. There comes a moment in every war when mercy becomes a liability. I update my legal tracking board at the apartment with the precision of a project manager overseeing a high-rise construction. Days to default judgment, 3. Response deadline, March 15th. Estimated sale date, April 12th. Everything mapped out with military efficiency. Martin calls Tuesday morning with confirmation. No response filed. Judge Morrison signed the default judgment yesterday afternoon. The house is officially going to partition sale. Timeline? Rachel can list it immediately. Court-ordered sales typically close within 30 days. You have full authority to proceed. I feel something settle in my chest. Not satisfaction, but the cold relief of a structural engineer watching a dangerous building finally get condemned. Rachel posts the property Wednesday morning. The MLS listing reads like a medical examiner's report. Court-ordered partition sale. Motivated seller. Cash offers preferred. She schedules the first showings for Friday. The sign goes up while Emily's home. Mrs. Patterson calls me with play-by-play commentary. "Oh, Tom, she ran outside barefoot, still in her bathrobe, screaming at the crew to take it down. They just kept working. Professional, you know. But Emily, she broke down crying right there on the front lawn. Neighbors watching from their windows." The buyer frenzy starts immediately. Rachel calls Thursday afternoon with an update that makes my engineering brain appreciate market efficiency. 5 cash offers in 24 hours. 3 from out-of-state investors, 1 from a young local couple, 1 from a retired veteran. What's the highest? $425,000. 15-day closing, no contingencies, no inspection beyond what's legally required. I choose the veteran. Sometimes principles matter more than an extra few $1,000s. Set up the closing for March 28th. Notify Emily and Bradley they have until the 25th to vacate. "Tom," Rachel hesitates, "are you sure about this? She's your daughter. She made her choice when she picked him over family. Now she lives with the consequences." The notification arrives at their house Friday morning via certified mail. Mrs. Patterson reports that Emily didn't come outside to accept it. Bradley had to sign for it instead. That evening, Emily drives to my old house again. This time she finds Mrs. Patterson working in her garden and begs for my new address. "Please, Mrs. Patterson, I just need to talk to him. We found a small apartment in Decatur, but we need $3,200 to move in. Bradley can't get approved for the loan. We're running out of time." Mrs. Patterson lies smoothly. "I'm sorry, dear, but Tom moved out of state. Didn't leave a forwarding address." Later that night, I find another note under my old front door. Emily's handwriting has deteriorated, words slanting downward like a structure losing its foundation. "Dad, we found a place, but need help with the deposit. Bradley's trying, but his credit is shot. Please. We have nowhere else to go." Signed, Emily, your daughter. The same desperate signature, like she's trying to remind me of biology when loyalty has already failed. I file the note and drive back to the apartment. Saturday brings a different kind of voicemail. Bradley's voice, but stripped of the anger and bravado. "You win, all right? You got exactly what you wanted. Hope you're proud. You destroyed your own family." Then, quieter. "But she's hurting, man. Really hurting. I messed up, I get that. But Emily's paying for my mistakes. You've made your point." I listen to it twice, then delete it. The social collapse accelerates beyond what even I anticipated. Emily's remaining friends at the dental clinic learn the full story when the local newspaper runs a legal notice about the forced sale. One of her former co-workers, Janet Morrison, calls Mrs. Patterson with brutal honesty. "My dad co-signed for me too when I bought my house. I would never, ever put him in this position." Emily deactivates her Instagram completely, stops answering calls from anyone except Bradley and her mother. Bradley spends his days chain-smoking in the garage, scrolling through sports betting apps he can no longer afford to use. Neighbors report shouting matches that echo through the walls most nights. The final appraisal locks everything in stone. Property value, $427,000. Rachel sends me the net breakdown with accountant-level precision. Remaining mortgage balance, $293,000. Secured liens and gambling debts, $49,000. Legal fees and real estate commissions, $7,000. Net payout to me as co-signer, $78,437. I review the numbers while drinking my morning coffee, sign the release forms with the same mechanical precision I use to approve construction change orders. 2 days before the vacate deadline, Rachel conducts a pre-sale walkthrough. She finds the house half-packed, boxes scattered through rooms like evidence of a hasty evacuation. "Emily wouldn't answer the door," Rachel reports. "Just watched from the upstairs bedroom window. There was a note taped to the front door. 'Don't knock. Don't talk. Just do what you came to do.'" The bitterness in those words feels like a small victory. Better she hate me than continue living in denial about Bradley's character. How'd the house look? Clean. Well maintained. She's taken care of it until the end. Of course she is. Emily always finished what she started, even when the project was destroying her life. That night, alone in my apartment, I finally opened the memory box I've been avoiding for weeks. Emily, 1987-2012, written in my own handwriting from when I organized family photos after her mother's funeral. Baby shoes that cost more than I could afford when I was 25 and working double shifts. Report cards with straight A's through elementary school when she still listened to everything I taught her about building something that lasts. A Father's Day card from when she was 10, written in purple crayon. "Thanks for building our house, Daddy. You're the best builder in the world." I close the box without reading the rest, pack it in a sealed storage tote, and carry it to the apartment complex's climate-controlled unit. Some memories are too precious to destroy, too painful to keep visible. March 25th arrives with the kind of gray morning that feels like a funeral. I drive past the house at 8 a.m., moving truck in the driveway, boxes loaded with methodical efficiency. Emily's car isn't there, but Bradley's Honda sits beside the truck like a mourner at a graveside. I don't stop. Don't slow down. Just confirm they're complying with the court order and drive to Rachel's office to sign the final paperwork. March 28th, 10 a.m., Creston Financial Building. I arrive early, wearing the same navy suit from Emily's wedding 6 years ago. The same suit I wore when we signed the original mortgage, back when I thought I was helping secure her future. Rachel and Martin are already in the conference room. Buyer's attorney, bank representative, title manager, all gathered around polished mahogany, like surgeons preparing for a complex operation. The closing process is smooth, surgical, inevitable. Documents signed with the precision of a man who's spent 35 years reading blueprints and understanding structural specifications. At 10:47 a.m., I signed the final deed transfer. Check issued, $78,437. "Congratulations, Mr. Keene," the title manager says with professional warmth. "The property is no longer your responsibility." Responsibility, as if this was ever about property values or legal obligations. Walking to my car, I feel something I haven't experienced in months. Not triumph. That would require an enemy worth defeating. Not satisfaction. That would suggest this was about revenge. Peace. The cold structural peace of watching a dangerous building finally come down in a controlled demolition instead of a catastrophic collapse. My phone buzzes with a voicemail notification. Emily's voice quiet but steady. "We moved out yesterday. Bradley got a job at a warehouse in Jacksonville. I'm staying with his aunt until I can find work." A pause. Then, "I understand now. About the money, about the mortgage, about why you did it. I still don't know if I can forgive you, but I understand." Another pause, longer this time. "I hope someday you'll—" I delete the message before she finishes. Understanding is enough. Forgiveness was never the point. That afternoon, I visit Pine Hill Crossing, a quiet condo community overlooking the municipal golf course. Purchase a 2-bedroom unit with a garden view. Pay cash. No cosigner required. Sometimes the foundation has to be rebuilt from scratch. Emily will understand that lesson eventually, whether she wants to or not. The war is over. Justice doesn't require an apology. Revenge doesn't always scream. Sometimes it signs papers in silence and walks away with the deed. Moving into Pine Hill Crossing feels like stepping into a different life entirely. The condo community sits on manicured grounds where retirees walk small dogs and discuss property values over morning coffee. My neighbors are architects, engineers, retired bank managers, people who understand that stability comes from careful planning, not wishful thinking. I unpack methodically, the way I approached every construction project for 35 years. Coffee maker first, then books, then the single-framed photograph I allow myself to keep visible. Emily at 5 years old. Covered in finger paint from an art project we worked on together. Her smile genuine, trusting, unaware that someday she'd choose a gambling addict over the man who built her first bedroom with his own hands. The rest of the family photos go into climate-controlled storage. Some wounds need time to heal properly. 3 weeks after the closing, Martin forwards me a certified letter that arrived at his office. Bradley defaulted on a private loan using falsified employment documents, now under investigation by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The loan company wants to know if I have any information about asset transfers or hidden accounts. "Nothing you're liable for," Martin assures me over the phone, but it shows the pattern continuing. Guy can't help himself. Through Mrs. Patterson, I hear fragments of their new life in Jacksonville. Emily works part-time at a small dental clinic, making half what she earned in Creston Heights. Bradley lasted 6 weeks at the warehouse before getting fired for showing up late. Again. They've separated, according to the neighborhood gossip network that somehow tracks these things across state lines. Emily lives alone with little Emily in a 1-bedroom apartment near the clinic. Bradley moved in with some cousin who runs a body shop and plays poker on weekends. The letter arrives on a Tuesday in May, plain white envelope with no return address. Emily's handwriting, neater now than those desperate notes she left at my old house. "Dad, I know you probably won't read this, but I need to say it anyway. Bradley and I are getting divorced. I filed the papers last week. I get it now, what you were trying to protect me from. Doesn't mean I'm okay with how you did it, but I understand why." I read it twice, then file it with the other legal documents. Understanding is progress. Forgiveness isn't required. Saturday mornings I tend to a small citrus garden on my condo's back patio, lemon tree, lime tree, and a small orange sapling that reminds me of the one Emily planted for a school project when she was 8. I water them with the same precision I brought to structural calculations, measuring growth in millimeters and seasonal cycles. The engineering in me appreciates the patience required. You can't force a tree to grow faster by pulling on its branches. You create the right conditions and let time do the work. Mrs. Patterson calls with updates I don't request, but find myself listening to anyway. Emily's enrolled in night school, studying to become a dental hygienist supervisor. Little Emily started kindergarten and apparently loves reading, just like her grandfather. She asks about you sometimes, Mrs. Patterson mentions during one of these calls. Emily, I mean. Wonders if you're happy in your new place. I tell Mrs. Patterson I'm settling in fine, which is true. The golf course view reminds me why I worked all those extra hours, all those years. Not just to build wealth, but to build the kind of security that can't be gambled away by someone else's poor choices. Fall brings another development I learn about through Martin's office. Bradley got arrested for check fraud in Jacksonville. Wrote bad checks using Emily's old account information from when they were still married. The case got dismissed when Emily testified that she'd already changed all her banking information and wasn't pressing charges. She's protecting herself now, Martin observes, learning to think like you do. Learning to think structurally, about foundations instead of facades, about what lasts versus what looks good temporarily. The holidays pass quietly. No phone calls, no visits, no awkward family dinners where we pretend the past year didn't happen. I cook a small turkey for Thanksgiving, watch football, and grade the season's final reports from the consulting work I've picked up, reviewing structural plans for a local engineering firm. The irony doesn't escape me. I'm still building things, just without the family complications. Christmas morning, I find a package outside my door. No note, no return address, but I recognize Emily's careful wrapping style. Inside, a ceramic coffee mug little Emily made in her kindergarten art class, painted blue and green with shaky letters spelling Grandpa in gold glitter. I use it for my morning coffee, and don't call to say thank you. Some gestures speak for themselves. Spring arrives with maintenance tasks that feel therapeutic rather than burdensome. Pruning the citrus trees, replanting the herb garden, reviewing the condo association's structural inspection reports because old habits die hard. My neighbors invite me to barbecues and book clubs and weekend golf tournaments. I accept some invitations, decline others, and gradually build the kind of social life that doesn't depend on family obligation or genetic loyalty. It's a Tuesday in April when I finally allow myself to drive past my old house. New owners have painted the shutters green, installed a playground set in the backyard, and planted roses where Emily used to park her bike. The house looks solid, well-maintained, loved by people who understand that homeownership is a responsibility, not just an asset to leverage. I drive away satisfied that the structure will outlast the drama that once occupied it. That evening, walking the tree-lined path behind my condo, I pass new construction going up on the adjacent lot. Young crew, working late to beat a deadline. Reminds me of myself at 25, pouring foundations and believing that hard work could solve any problem. I stop to watch them level a concrete pour, the kind of precision work that either gets done right the first time or causes problems for decades. The foreman notices me observing, walks over with the cautious respect blue-collar workers show to obvious retirees. "You in the trade?" he asks. "Was." 35 years. We talk shop for a few minutes. Proper rebar spacing, curing times, the importance of getting the foundation level before you worry about anything else. Basic principles that apply to more than construction. "Any advice?" he asks as his crew starts cleaning tools. I consider this, watching his workers secure the job site with the methodical care of people who understand that shortcuts cause catastrophic failures. "Build it right the first time," I tell him, because fixing someone else's mistakes always costs more than doing it yourself. Walking back to my condo, I think about Emily learning to budget in that tiny apartment in Jacksonville. Little Emily learning to read in a stable home, even if it's smaller than the one they lost. Sometimes the foundation has to be torn down, so something stronger can be built in its place. 6 months from now, Emily might call, or she might not. Either outcome is acceptable. I didn't destroy my daughter's life. I saved her from a man who was already burning it to the ground. Justice isn't about making them sorry. It's about proving you were right to begin with. And sometimes, being right is enough.